Good morning, Mr. Sanchez.
Hi.
My name is Nathan. I'm a PA student, and this is the rest of my team.
These are marvelously trained PA and medical students. They're very solid in their education. They're very moral and committed to the profession. They want to do what's right for society. They want to do what's right for their patients.
Stopped it all since then, or has it just been continuous since last night?
I'm seeing a lot of hope in students.
All right, you gonna start without me?
And a lot of energy, a lot of great ideas, a lot of passion, and all of those are qualities that are essential to a healthcare workforce.
So, we got a 13-month-old girl.
Well, the people you're seeing in a medical school are people who truly, truly want to be there. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't make it past week one. And this is associated with other asthma and allergies, and a family history of
Right, it's the
atopic
first disease in
dermatitis.
the series leading to it.
I think the thing that makes me most excited is they're going to be great clinicians, but they're also really great people. And they've taken time to develop not just their medical education, but themselves as a whole.
I chose to become a PA specifically because it suits my learning style really well. I really like learning kind of the big picture, and then I really enjoy the fact that someone comes and tells you their problems and you get to fix it.
For me, I envision practicing medicine in a rural setting, similar to Brookings, Oregon, and forming strong connections with my patients. But I also see myself investing time into community care organizations. That's the direction that the country is going to, and that's the direction that Oregon is definitely going towards, is really improving the health at a population level.
As a physician assistant, I can serve people. I can serve the community as well, be a part of the community, an active member of the community.
In terms of the training and the motivation of the students and the faculty and the staff, it was there when I started, it was there when I left, and now when I do some voluntary teaching, it's still there. It's still a great motivated system, great students, great faculty, people very dedicated to training physicians and being top-notch physicians. The thing that's really changed is the cost to the individual.
They see a huge burden financially on medical students today versus when I looked at medical school 20 plus years ago.
My total cost was probably around $10,000 for 13 years of the highest quality of education.
The average medical student gets out of medical school with anywhere from $150,000 to $400,000 in debt. It's as if every year you went out and bought a Mercedes-Benz for $60,000 when you had no income.
The amount of debt that our medical students incur and our PA students incur in our state is amazing.
In the 7 years since I graduated, the total cost of attending PA school has increased by about $20,000 a year.
Medicine addresses a diverse population of people. So you want a diverse population of physicians taking care of those patients. And I think diversity is greatly impacted by the inability to get into medical school and the inability to pay the tuition. Basically, it reduces it down to only those who can afford it.
I might have been 13 years old, maybe 14 years old, and this idea popped in my head that I really want to become a doctor. I really want to go to medical school. People weren't talking about how expensive medical school was. They weren't talking about how compensation for doctors was going to go down. Now that we've reached that point where tuition is so high, we actually think about how are we going to pay this back?
Students that I counsel often bring up the thought, well, I have about 200 grand in debt. I can't choose to be a primary care doctor even though I would love that field. It's just not financially doable.
Finances have become a major criteria in terms of the decisions that graduating medical students use to determine what specialty they'll enter and where they'll go into practice.
I'm a janitor's kid. I'm not from a wealthy family. And so it never crossed my mind that I'd want to pick a specialty or train in a certain way because I had to pay my bills. It was always, what do I love? What do I want to do? How can I be most helpful to society? What do I have aptitude for?
Okay. Case 2. A 9-year-old Boy Scout is camping in northern Arizona with a scout troop.
He returned from a hike about 3 hours ago when the child begins to complain of itching and burning on his legs. If your heart is set on pediatrics, but you know that you go into dermatology and can make 4 times as much money, it's tough. It's tough to make that decision, knowing that you are in a massive amount of debt from day one.
I've been involved in the workforce issues in the state, and we need to do everything we can to encourage and incentivize physicians, number 1, to go into primary care, and number 2, to practice outside of our metropolitan areas where the need for physicians is incredible.
The Oregon Medical Association, through our foundation, can awaken our society to this reality.
We realize that it's good for people to be able to do things for themselves, to do as much as they can for themselves. We also realize there are always these steps in life where you need a little hand.
Are there any other physical exams that you would like to perform? They need not only our expertise and our teaching. You are correct in your diagnosis of appendicitis. But they also need financial support when we're at a place when we can afford to do it.
It's time now for the organization to take up philanthropy in a very serious way to make the organization great.
When we have a scholarship, it tells people we want you to think about medicine.
I believe the Oregon Medical Association Medical Scholarship Fund is so important to the future of all Oregonians.
So we all had support as we made decisions to go into medical school. We had mentors and people who supported us in these decisions to go into medicine and to pursue a tremendous career. And I encourage all the physicians throughout the state to support the future of medicine in Oregon by contributing to this fund.
When my class graduates, Oregon will be in very good hands, no doubt about that.
This is not an easy road at all, but it's rewarding.
I just went to India for a summer, and from then on out, I just realized that this is where I want to be.
I grew up in Brookings, Oregon. Maybe if people like me go back to these communities, those individuals will have a doctor to take care of them.
We're going to be in great hands.